There we have it. So today is Monday. It's day 46 of using Vinted to sell my old stuff that got me started in reselling. So we have, what do we have to do? We've got to go through the sales and I've got some listings to do today. But before we get into that, I do always like to start when people leave comments, address those comments and yeah, talk to them. So we got a message from Ficto AGN. Just going to call you Ficto for this, but you basically said, can we have a stock room tour? Sometimes just nice to see some of this old stuff again. What I'd like to know is how you take that step from selling bits and bobs to reselling full time. How do you source your stock, like car boots or charity shops? If so, are we getting a come to the car boot with me style video soon? One other thing, what did you do before reselling? Keep it up, mate. So massive thank you for your comment, because when people comment, it, like I said, it's a reminder that these videos are reaching human beings, and we're also connecting to collectors, whether they're buying or selling or people just interested in it. So obviously we've already spoke before because I've bought quite a lot from you. So yeah, it's good to have you on the channel, but I'm going to answer these questions today before we get into the video. And it was really good you comment, because it has actually made me think a lot about things. And although I say I've been doing this full time for 2 years, sometimes you do have to go back and remember like why you got into this, have a look at your goals from when you started to where you are now, and yeah, because you're constantly growing, and you're never ever going to become you're never going to know everything there is to know in terms of, like, say for me selling collectibles, it's just impossible. So like, I'm literally always a student, so to get your comments is great, and for you, if you can share, like, obviously, yeah, where you're at and your thoughts, but we're going to address them in stages. So first question, this one's funny. So can we have a stock room tour? My answer, yes, but not right now. The unit I'm in now is the unit I've had since day one, from when I started 2 years ago, and literally you couldn't swing a cat in there. Like, not that I endorse swinging cats if you do have a unit big enough, but literally it was a place to get me started. I thought I was going to be in there for 4 years because I thought it'd be big enough, but I've 100% outgrown that space now, and it's not a pretty sight. There's like one of the tiles has like fallen in, like next to the window. Two of the lights aren't working. Everything's just like, there's just no space to move around. So I'm not going to put you guys through it, and it's not a nice vision for DM Collectors Lounge for people to see. Like, just the way it's stored, it's not brilliant. Now everything's like safe and everything, but it just looks untidy. It's organised chaos. But say if I went away for a week or two on holiday, there's no way I could get a family member, friend, loved one, whatever, to go in and like continue doing orders for me. But that's all going to change in March, because in March, the reason for me doing this Vinted challenge is to basically get rid of my old stuff that got me started, like I said, in reselling. So come March, 1 second. So come March, there's going to be a new unit, and that new unit is going to be organised so that it is suitable for the next 4 years of my journey into reselling. It's going to allow me to do all my work in one place. So that could be listing, testing collectibles, that's something else that I want to start doing, and obviously packing, which is already what it's suitable for, just. But yeah, I'm also wanting to get a new unit to basically deliver better content for the YouTube channel. So yeah, that will be coming soon, but not quite yet, Victor. So next question, taking the steps from selling bits and bobs to to full-time selling. Yeah, it took me a while to think about this because it's something that just naturally happened because, like I said, I started selling my old stuff, so like old wrestling figures, what else, like old comics, old clothing, old football figures, just like a lot of the stuff I had from growing up. And by doing that, it's allowed me to make some extra money off my old stuff. But then, rather than say use that money to pay for, like, I don't know, days out, like trips, clothes, whatever, I've always kept that money in the eBay, and it's just been like saving up. And so with that money, I then started buying more of like the stuff I had as a kid from other people, and then started selling that. So how did I make that switch? So I've wrote down here something that I wanted to do when I was making the switch to go full time is to have a good amount of stock built up, because that isn't just stock that's active on your store, wherever that is, but also if you're going full time at this, the last thing you want to do is go from working 40 hours a week to then you're going full time and you're only working 4 hours every day. Like, there's no point. So what I did, I gathered built up a lot of stock, a lot of backlog, and it was just before like the busy Q3 of the tax year where Christmas is coming, and so that was like a good opportunity for me to quit my job and start listing all the stock that I've built up, and yes, start selling that, because at that time, even now, like I could be working on this 12 hours a day if I wanted, 14 hours a day, and there's still always work to be being done. So maybe for yourself, like I've wrote down here like a question for you, like how many hours a week do you put into say what you're doing right now? Because say if you're only being able to put in 2 or 3 hours a week, could you justify, like say quitting your job? Would you be able to fill that time putting it all into say the business that you want to run? Because if not, it might be worth like coming up with a plan as to like how you could do that. And you don't say necessarily have to make that leap from having a full-time job to then quitting and going self-employed. Instead, you might be in a position where you could like drop hours, ask them if you could do, instead of 40 hours, can you go down to like a 30-hour contract, or find a part-time job that can like sustain your living. But a really important thing for me when I went full-time is I saved up enough money so that I could basically meet all my basic bills like mortgage, gas and electric, water, council tax, car insurance, all that stuff. I could just meet the basics for 2 years, so that I didn't have to worry about, am I going to be able to like pay for X, Y, and Z. Instead, all my focus can literally go on building this business and growing this business, which that's like my biggest aim. So I hope that answers that. Let's see. Let's have a look. So yeah, question to you on that. I answered that. If I've not answered them in any way, like, and you have another question, just let me know. But I've also wrote down here, since I started doing this full time, some massive benefits I've noticed, and it's definitely helping my business grow. So because I can do this full time and I can put all my own hours in, I'm definitely getting more sales from having good dispatch times. So on Vinted, like I've said it in the past, but you can send items, I think you've got like 7 days or something, but still I send it next day because it keeps customers happy, and that will result in them coming back and leaving. When people leave genuine reviews rather than just the automatic feedback, if they're taking that extra step and like writing how good the service is, other people will see that, and that will make them want to shop with you. So like having a good dispatch time definitely helps, because I'm full time now, whereas when I worked at another job selling my old stuff, I could only send stuff out every 2 working days, and say like when Christmas is coming and stuff, just creates headaches. Since going full time, and this answers your question, where do I source my stock? So majority of the time I use like Vinted, eBay, Facebook, Gumtree, all online, because it's so much better when the stock comes to me, because A, I've already got packaging for it, B, I know where it's at, and it just like type, I might pay more money for it, but it just makes my day so much easier. I used to love going to like, and I still go to the like exhibitions and fairs, but I've only ever done car boots as a kid. It was a day out, and if I'm going to like a town or something and there's a car boot on, I'll check it out and I'll have a walk around. Like my mate in Berlin, I went to Berlin and we went to like a park one day, and he obviously knows what I do. And yeah, like there was an antique like traders thing going on, and he took me to that, and that was like really cool. But it was just part of the experience. Like I wasn't going there with the intention of like making money buying stuff, and it was just nice to see what other people had. I think you've got to be so lucky to go to charity shops and car boots and find the type of collectibles that I'm selling. They'll 100% exist. Like let's say Jay Strongbow, he will exist. They exist. Like wrestling figures, you see it all the time, and I've probably paid more money for that than I would if I found it at the car boot. However, anybody that's into buying and selling on eBay, Vinted, whatever platform you sell on, whoever sees that as a car boot will pick it up. So to be the first person that sees it, you have to be so lucky. And I don't want to be the person, like I've said, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want to be the guy selling like a VT home telephone from £2 to 15 quid. Like that isn't the direction I want the store to go in. Instead, I want to really be pushing to get collectibles in that I enjoy. And I guess that comes back to your question about how I got into making that transition from selling my old stuff to going full time. So in business, like I studied business at like school, did it again at sixth form, and something I've always had a passion with. Like on my like bookshelf there's plenty of like business people I like, their autobiographies, self-help books, and in business there's like an acronym called SMART, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And when you're running a business, you 100% need like short-term goals and long-term goals. And if you get a chance, I'd definitely have a look into seeing how you can apply the SMART method to yourself, because sometimes it's very easy to be just like wandering and not really like having a plan, because you might be happy with say the money you're earning or where like your business is at, whatever. But any decent business will have goals and plans, and in time I aim to improve them, and it'd be great to have people working with me for like in the future, but that is a long way off. So what did I do before this? Before this, I've done like loads of jobs, but the very last job I had was working in a leisure centre, and I was there for 4 years. Decent job to be fair, and I was like very close to being content and just staying there, because like the people were sound. Still see some of the people now. The money was all right for what I did. The people I worked with were like-minded. They either like sports, fitness, health. Weren't too far. I only had to travel half an hour. So yeah, that was like the last job I did. And even say for yourself, even though I was selling my old stuff, what you can do is to try and save money for yourself and keep that money within your business. Is use your surroundings for like say packaging and stuff. Like I said, I've bought a few plenty of times, and you always pack well. But maybe to help save you money, you could buy you could get packaging from your workplace, your friends, that kind of thing, and that helps. So yeah, literally Ficto. Hope I've answered all them. If you have any more questions or I've not answered them, give me a message. And yeah, always use me if you want to sell them wrestling accessories, because I'll always buy them. Your prices are really good, and yeah, so win-win for us both. So let's get into today's vintage episode. So since speaking last, we had the £5 sale for some Marvel DC comics. Happy days. Since then, I tested the Rocky figures that had like imperfections to see how they do, and they've done really well. Like, they're getting a lot of people coming to the store. We had one buyer buy 3 items for £81, which is, I think that might be one of the biggest sales on the Vinted, which is good. A rugby t-shirt, £150. Bundle of 5 items, £6.80. Another bundle of 10 comics, £5, and some pants, £1. But like I said, if pennies make pounds, what do pounds make? So we did have a customer actually message. I'm not going to get the message up, but we had a customer message who put in like a huge bundle for some comics for like 50 to 60 quid. But with the discount already applied, it was £98 with the discount. So the 50 to 60 was a bit low for me, but I said I'd do 75, and then they said they'll wait till they get paid. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Yeah, there's not loads of room in the boxes, but we're going to get 4 lots of more comics on because we've got them coming out already, so it makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to quickly show you, because I'll use it as a thumbnail. So we've got your likes of X-Men, and just like a bit of a bundle there, and that's going to be the thumbnail photo. So I'm not going to jump back on because it's not worth it. It'll take like 5 minutes to get them on. But yeah, some decent sales over the weekend, and hopefully I'll have some more to show you tomorrow. Day 47 tomorrow. See you in a bit.